Hey, it's Tina Lorraine, your certified abundant mindset coach. And this is the premiere of, drumroll please, Soulful Solutions. Soulful Solutions is when we look within ourselves to solve the problems without in the realm without ourselves. We're going to be talking about everything from how to start a dream, which we'll be talking about tonight. So if you have that dream in your heart and you've been playing around with it and God keeps putting it in your heart and you keep going, no, not me, who am I can't do this, it's impossible. Tonight is your night to hear an amazing story of a woman who did exactly that, started her dream from living in corporate America. And I'm going to let her tell her story, but I'm just kind of giving you an introduction. Her name is Natasha Patrick, and she's a consultant that specializes in streamlining everything in your business, the front end, the back end, the in-between end, all of it, your kids. No, I'm just kidding. She streamlines operating systems in your business. And if you don't know what that is, then she's going to get on and explain it to you. But I wanted to kind of give her a little so yes, she's going to be on to explain that. And we are going to get to it as soon as she gets on. I invited her on, so we'll see if it works. And it did. There she is.
Hey Tina, I
Hey.
think this is on.
What you
I
say?
don't see you.
You don't see me?
It's the screen for me is black.
Oh, won't you go back out and come back in? Because
Um,
can you guys see me? That the ones that are in the audience?
I can't see you, but I can hear you. So what should I do? Should I go back out?
We can see you, but yeah, go out and come back in. Maybe it's just, yeah.
Okay, this may sound stupid, but how do I go out? Do I just press the X button?
The X. Yeah.
Okay,
Press the
okay,
X and then
okay,
request.
okay.
Okay, guys. Can you see me? If everybody can see me, then it's probably on her end. So just let me know in the comments if you can see me, because she said she couldn't see me. So I just want to make sure that everybody can see and hear. So let me know in the comments if you can see both of us when she comes back on. Okay. But anyway, yes. So Tasha started off in the corporate world over 15 years ago, and she decided, okay, here she comes again. Hi. You're gonna, can you see me?
Uh-uh,
You can't see me?
uh-uh. I can't.
Oh, I can see you and I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay. I think the audience can see both of us. I'm asking them if they can see both of us. If they can see both of us and you can hear me, then um,
Um,
I'm gonna.
I don't. I don't know, and I don't think I can see the audience either. Okay, hold on. Um, I don't know, Tina Team. Oh, okay. Somebody said that they could see both of us.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you just want to go with that since you can hear me, or
Yeah, that's
you
cool.
want me to, or you want me to sign out and come back in?
No, we good. But I don't know. Like, were you planning on saving this? And if you were to save it, when you
They'll be
repost
able to
it to
see
you.
you because I can see you. So
Okay.
everybody should be able to see you because I can see you. And if you want to see the replay, that'll be fine. It'll be downloaded on my YouTube. It'll still be up on this news feed too.
Okay. I
Okay.
just didn't know if it'd be a black screen. Girl, we good.
No, it's not a black screen. It's not a black screen. We can see you.
Okay.
All
Okay,
righty.
fine.
So today, I gave you a little shout out, but Tasha's going to describe what she does, and I was saying she streamlines the front end, the back end, the middle end of your kids, but I was just being funny.
Girl, look,
But
not the children. Look, not the children, but I do streamline my nieces and nephews to get them in line. No, let me just play.
so tell us about what you do now, Tasha.
Oh, hey everyone. So basically what I'm doing now, like I'm a consultant helping service businesses, to streamline and to systematize their, I think what you were talking about, like their front end, their back end operational systems and processes. Because a lot of businesses, one of the things that they kind of struggle with is the back end of their business, kind of getting everything to order, kind of like getting their business systems together. And I know sometimes when people think about, business systems or systems, period, they think more about like automation. Automation is a part of it, but
Like me.
most businesses, I'm sorry, what you say?
I said like me.
Yeah. So, but, most businesses struggle, automation is a part of it, but most businesses struggle with organizing their business as a system. Does that make sense? And
Mm-hmm.
like one of the things that I was noticing, what is the guy? Oh God, I don't want to jam his name. The food critic who's been going around to different restaurants. Girl, why I'm going to say
I'm
Chief
good with
Keef.
chefs, but not so much the critics.
Um, I think his name is Keith. I can't
But tell
remember
us
his name.
anyway,
Yeah,
what's
well,
going on?
he's like a good food critic, but he goes around to different restaurants and he does like food reviews on different restaurants. And what he does is, depending on like the review of the restaurants that he gives, a lot of the restaurants has increased or have an influx in customers, right? And one thing that, just as an operations part, Keith Lee, thank you so much, Superior Medical Billing. His name is Keith Lee. And so one of the things that, I was looking at just from an operational side is that when he give these restaurants shout outs, I hope that these restaurants have their back end operational system together to handle all of these influx of customers now that's going to come to their restaurant in regards to, the food, in regards to the service delivery, in regards to, having, a good customer experience, just all of that. Because one of the things that we definitely can experience in business is fast growth. And oh, somebody was texting me, girl. So one of the things that we can experience in business is like fast growth. And sometimes we're not able to support that growth because we don't have our operational systems and processes together. So that was like one of the things that I'll, kind of like notice like with the food critic. But basically, most businesses do struggle after, they market and get clients and customers in the door. Most business struggle with, you know, retaining those clients and customers because they don't have that same, customer experience. The quality control measures kind of, get compromised because they don't have the foundational pieces to support that growth.
Okay, groovy.
Yeah.
Hi, Pakistan. Thank you for watching. Thank everybody for
Hey
watching.
y'all.
So
Hey y'all.
we're gonna jump on this subject real quick. We're gonna talk about giving some practical steps on how to start a dream. The dream in your heart, and that could be a business, that could be a book, that could be a daycare center, that could be a law firm, it could be anything, but we want to talk about some practical things like mindset, because I am a mindset coach, and what Tasha does for businesses on the operational side, I do the same thing in people's lives with their thoughts and their life and their life skills. I help them to become problem solvers, and I help them to organize themselves to achieve goals in their lives. So over 15 years ago, let me set this up. Tasha was working in the corporate world of insurance as an insurance claim adjuster, medical examiner. And she decided at some point she wanted to leave that corporate job and start and become self-employed and start a business of her own. What
Mhm.
I would like to know is how she made that leap of faith. Was it God inspired, or was she inspired by it, or was it a little bit of both? What made her want to leave the comfort of getting a paycheck that she knew she's going to get every,
Ooh.
I forget how they pay, but leaving the comfort and security of going to work every day. What made you take that leap from your corporate job to starting your own business?
Um, I think one of the things that, like when you talk about dreams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, initially, like my dream was just to, um, the dream initially was like, I just didn't want to be capped financially. Like I just wanted to be able to have unlimited income potential. And although I would say that I made pretty good money at the insurance company, I knew that there will always be a limit. Like there will always be a cap. And so even though I was, had the opportunity to kind of like work your way up that corporate ladder and kind of like move in other departments, I still didn't want to be capped financially. And then another thing I was thinking about too was like if I was a mom, like if I was to get married and if I was a mom, I wanted that option of being at home with my children. Like, I wanted to be the type of mom that can, in the morning, make them breakfast, take them to school. When they come home, I'm there at home. And that was kind of like my dream at the time that was important to me of not being capped financially, being able to be a stay-at-home mom, but at the same time, even though, I would be married, I would still have an opportunity to make my own money. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense? So for me, that's kind of like where the dream started off at. And so when one of my coworkers, I don't know if do you remember Tayo? Like one of our
Yeah,
coworkers, right?
yeah.
So her husband, was an entrepreneur. And then so she got into entrepreneurship. And so too, she has started a medical billing company. And so she was the one who gave me the idea. And so she was like, you already know how to process claims. You already know about UB92. Why don't you UB92 bills? Why don't you start a medical billing company? And I was like, nah, I don't think that's something that I wanted to do because, I was at that time I was already getting tired of, working at the health insurance company. But when I got home and I really thought about it and I really thought about what my dream was at the time, I was like, okay, I think that this makes sense. I think this is something that I possibly could do. And so after she shared the ideas with me, it was, that year I just kind of like made a transitional plan of what I was going to do if this business could really, really work for me. And from there, Tina, I just went for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an idea that somebody gave to me, but I think I was ready to receive the idea because at that time I was like, okay, this was my dream of not being capped financially, being able to be at home with my children. And, even though I'm married, I still can make and have my own money.
Right. So
Hmm.
in your case, because a lot of people get tripped up on gifts and talents and thinking that they don't have them. And I know
Uh-huh.
in my experience, some gifts and talents don't unfold until you go into that space.
Hmm.
So when I found out that I was a teacher, it was when I had to leave my corporate job because I wanted to be at home with my kids. But I was a single parent, so most people wouldn't do that. But I had this dream in my heart, and it wouldn't stop. That I wanted to homeschool, and I didn't even know anything about homeschooling. I
Hmm.
didn't know, anything, but at the same time, all the circumstances and everything happened where it was just like, you need to come off this job. And I didn't like being in the insurance world or the corporate world at all. But
And
I
see,
didn't
I'm just
know
the opposite. I love the corporate world. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
you did. You loved it. I didn't. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is sometimes you don't know what's inside of you until you move. And although you were saying you wasn't really crazy about the idea, it's more than obvious that your gifts and talents lie in this area because you're extremely excellent at it. But if you
Okay.
never made the strategic decision for you, mine was more of a leap of faith. Yours is more of
Uh-huh.
a strategic decision to leap.
Uh-huh.
If we never decided to do that, we never would have uncovered skills that we didn't know we had. I didn't know I was a teacher. That started my career in teaching in school
Uh-huh.
and with my kids
Hey.
because of a desire to want to be at home with them. So a
Uh-huh.
lot of times when I hear that I don't have a gift, I don't have a talent, I don't know what my purpose
Hey,
is.
Tamara. Uh-huh. No,
It's
I was just
because,
I'm sorry, the audience.
oh, you're saying hi?
Yeah.
It's
No,
because
but I heard what you said. You said like your skills and talents, like you didn't think that you had the skill sets for to be a teacher.
right, and a lot of times we don't uncover those gifts until we move into that space, and that's where the faith and the works come into it. So once you left your corporate job and you started this practice, because I am a mindset coach, I would like to look at some of the, looking back at it, the types of mindset, like you already expressed, you had a limitless mindset by saying you didn't want to be limited about
Hmm.
the money that you were generating from the corporate job. You just didn't want people to have limits on your money or your time.
Yeah.
And that was one of the, definitely for me, I wanted to be available to my kids. I wanted to have my own schedule. I didn't want to
Hmm.
be limited in money. I didn't want somebody telling me what to do all the time. I've never liked that. I never knew I didn't like that. But that's why, it's because on the back end of it, I was an entrepreneur, and I was, I didn't know that full, I didn't realize that full dream until I really started walking in it. So what
Hmm.
were some of the mindsets that, like, did you have to be brave? I know you had to be brave. Limitless, yes. What were some things that you had to develop as you went along and you left your job?
Um, it was definitely like a lot of mindset shifts that I had to go through. Um, I think one thing too that I had confidence that what I was about to do was a transferable skill. Like I wasn't about to do something totally different in a totally different industry that I was kind of like unfamiliar with. Like I wasn't coming from, working from an insurance company in the claims department to go and starting down a bakery. You know what I mean? So it was definitely, excuse me, like a transferable skill set that I felt confident in that I could start a business in this industry because it was something that I was already familiar with and something that I was already doing. And so, there was like a lot of though of I wouldn't necessarily say I didn't believe in myself, but I questioned myself like, do I have the faith or do I have the belief that this could work for me? I know that I can help other people and I can inspire other people, like I can help people in their goals. But you know how sometimes like when you look at yourself, like, oh, it's for somebody else, but it's not for somebody like me. So I think I had to definitely overcome like those thoughts sometimes. And I think what kind of helped me navigate those waters when those kind of thoughts came up was for me, like I started to read like a lot of personal development books. And so that like really helped me to kind of like shift my thinking about some things to believe that I can do it or to believe that I could, that it could be done. I hope that makes
Okay,
sense.
and can you just, if you can you
Hmm.
give one self-development book that helped you the most? Just one that you really love that you may read over and over again?
Um, okay, definitely like at that time I was reading this book. The author's name. I think it's Maxwell
Yeah. Lucado?
Psycho Cybernetics.
Oh, okay, no, okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, so Psycho Cybernetics, it's a book. It's by Maxwell somebody, girl. I am so sorry. My brain is just on a brain freeze. But anyway, in the books, he just talks about like people don't accomplish beyond their self-image of themselves. So if you don't have like a positive or a high self-image of yourself, it makes it difficult for you to accomplish your dreams and accomplish your goals because you don't see yourself as that person. So that was definitely like instrumental for me. And then like at that time, like Tony Robbins did have some books. I don't know if y'all remember. This is like old school, y'all, like with
Oh
Tony
yeah.
Robbins. But he had like a
Tony
lot of
Robbins? Is that what you see? Yeah.
yeah, okay, like personal development CD tapes and stuff. And so I just used to, listen to a lot of his personal development tapes, to give me a lot of mind shifts because I think at that time for like mindset coaching or for just like coaching period, I think like he was like the number one person that you can go to that can kind of give you some mindset shifts to kind of help you navigate your own thoughts to make it to help you to overcome your own negative thoughts that this is possible. I can do this. I can keep going. You know, he talks about, you know, having consistency and building momentum so you won't lose that drive to accomplish your dream or to accomplish your goal. So those are like two of the main two.
And if anybody as well has any comments or questions, feel free to put them in the box and one of us will answer. And so I have these two books that have changed my life, like totally, and I read them over and over again. One is The Master Key by Charles Hannell. The is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of them, like I'm a junkie when it comes to books and you know, podcasts that deal with your mind and self-development. But I believe that the reason why we have to open ourselves to being limitless is because God is limitless. We have to align to that, and we can be limitless in our lane. Meaning, like I said, I love chefs. I love to watch chefs, and one of my favorite chefs is Gordon Ramsay. And at some point, okay, he started off a chef, but now he's built this empire of TV shows and appliances and frozen foods and mentoring and all these things from just being a chef. He could have stopped at being a chef, but he chose to continue to evolve. And I believe we all have to do that within our lanes. His lane is what he has with his gifts and talents. He took his gift of cooking, his love of cooking, and his purpose, and he continues to be open to expansion. And I think that's something that we all need to learn how to do, not comparing ourselves to one another, but just being limitless in what God places in our heart so we can manifest those things. And it's within all of us. There's no special children when it comes to God. We're all his beloved. We're all the apple of his eye. So whatever someone else is doing that you believe you cannot do or they're special, you have to work on your mindset in order to unlock those areas that you need to grow in, that you need to evolve in. So you don't even get stuck in the day-to-day, even if you are self-employed. So you don't get stuck in a rut in what you're doing, because we're all creative beings. We're all meant to evolve. So I think that's a piece of it too. Do you think that is a piece of it as well?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Like, we all have, like, you know, gifts, talents, skills, and abilities that we haven't even tapped into yet, right? And like you were saying, like, even like what being a teacher, you said that you didn't like, you didn't think that you had that skill set until you had to utilize it and then you develop it. But I do remember too, like, at the insurance company, you kind of trained, you know, you was an auditor too, right? So you did kind of have like some teaching skill sets that were there, that was available, but like you just develop them,
I just
you know,
made
when
a face, Tasha.
huh?
I just made a face.
Oh, girl, it's okay. Look, I can't look. I'm glad I can't see it. So you had
You already know. You already know. I wasn't about the insurance world.
Yep, it's okay. But it's like you know, you have developed it over time. So it's like all of us, like you were saying, we all have like hidden gifts, skills, and talents that we just need to tap into. And sometimes we're not able to tap into it unless we apply it to a dream, unless we apply it to like a vision or to like a goal or whatever. And then too, like a lot of time too, when people think about like their dreams, they kind of like think about like their goals and their purpose, like when it comes to business too. And one thing that I would want to share is too, when it comes to that, it's like your business doesn't necessarily have to be your ultimate passion or your ultimate purpose.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, like it doesn't have to be like your ultimate purpose or your ultimate passion. It just could be like, for me, it just was a transferable skill set that I've used. And I'm gonna be honest and I'll be transparent. Like having a medical billing business was not my passion. It's not a passion business for me, but it just was a transferable skill set. But what I managed to do though is I found a passionate way to operate my business. Like
Mhm.
the overall business itself wasn't passionate. It wouldn't have been like my first ideal business, but I didn't have the business idea to do. But I found ways to operate my business in a passionate way. And for me, excuse me, how I was able to do that is that I really love to serve, right? I really love to serve. I really like to, pour into, my doctors, pour into their medical practices. How can I work with these providers to help them to reach their goals, to grow their practice? I really like to, on the operational side of things, streamlining and organizing and restructuring their practice. So I found ways to operate in a passionate way, even though it wasn't necessarily my dream business, but I just found a way to operate my dream in a passionate way that was fulfilling to me. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'm sorry. That's kind of all over. My brain is kind of all over the place. Yeah, it's been a long day.
No, no. Yeah, and that's understandable. I think sometimes we do get caught up on it has to be one specific, did enough moment. It's the purpose. It's the path. But you
Mm-hmm.
said something that is so true about service.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's great at anything will always tell you that you have to have a heart to serve,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be humble. You have to be grateful. You have to incorporate these characteristics within yourself so you can be open to what I'm going to just say the best expression of yourself is.
Yeah.
So, because you're self-employed, you found a passionate way to do what you're doing, but at the same time you're fulfilled. So it's not like you're
Mm-hmm.
saying it's not your dream job, which I don't know what that is, but it's not your dream job, but you can still be passionate and you can still be complete and you still know that you're kind of in your lane. You know
Mm-hmm.
you're good at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are utilizing your talents and gifts, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so what made
Exactly.
you get from medical billing to, how did you transition from the medical billing to what you're doing now?
It was kind of like the same process. Like I've shared before that back when I was at uni, like when it's time to apply for your major, when you get into in your undergrad one. So like when you get into your junior year, it's time for you to apply for your major, right? So I applied to Office Management Information Systems to the College of Business. And girl, my application got denied. My
Oh.
application got rejected, right?
Mhm.
And so that's what I wanted to do in business. And so I didn't, um, they told me to reapply next year, but I was like, bump that, I'm gonna be out of here. I'm gonna graduate. So I just changed my major so I can graduate on time. But the idea of operations and business systems kind of like never left me. Like that love is still there. And how I came into love of that, I just didn't know what it was called at that time was, when I worked at a fast food restaurant called Hardee's. And I always say this, I share this all the time, that I think that a fast food restaurant is like one of the most perfect examples of having a streamlined operations, like having a franchise business. So I fell in love with operational systems and processes and workflows working at this, working at this fast food restaurant. So when it came time for my major, I said, okay, I think this is what I want to major in. And so when my application got denied, of course, I changed my major just so I can graduate on time. But like I said, that love never left my side. So even like when I started my medical billing agency, when I was helping the providers, increase their cash flow and, grow their revenue and grow their practice, some of them had dreams and goals of maybe expanding their practice, bringing on other providers or, open up, different locations. What I noticed in a lot of these provider practices is that a lot of their offices were a little messy. Like they were a little unorganized on the back end. Like they were good as far as like seeing and serving patients, but on the business side of things, on the operations operational side of things, like their offices were a little messy and they needed assistance. So for me, it's just like life still came full circle that I was still able to do what I love. And so in addition to me being an outsourcing agency, handling, their revenue cycle management and their billing, but I also, was able to become a consultant and help these practices, systematize and simplify and streamline their medical practice so they can operate and operate a little bit more efficiently. So again, we're talking about transferable skill sets for a dream. So I took, again, that transferable skill set and noticed that there was still a gap in the online space for businesses who need to systematize and streamline their business. So especially like within the medical billing community, I noticed that there was a gap there, right? So I just basically took that skill set, again, from working with providers, from working with practices, and now I'm here to serve, my medical billing community that I'm a part of, that I've been doing like for the last 20 years, to help them to streamline and systematize their agency so they can serve, as many providers as they want to serve, so they can, make as much revenue, not be capped in their not be capped in their agency, and make as much revenue as they can, because they need two operational systems, especially when they bring it on, all of these different providers, all of these different clients from all over nationwide. So I just, again, took that transferable skill set and brought it online to help the medical billing community, because it was instrumental for me in my business too.
Okay. So we're coming up on our 30-minute time allotment. If anybody has any questions, you can ask them now. And I just want to also let Tasha tell you about the programs she has to help you systemize your business systems. You want to do that, Tasha?
Oh, sure. Thank you so much. So definitely, like, if you like have a medical billing agency, and let's just say you're kind of like in that startup and building stage, we have the MBA Accelerator, which is a 12-week, 3-month program, that help agency owners build like some of these skill sets that we were talking about earlier, so they can really become not necessarily the CEO of their business, but the business owner of their business, helping them to not only build their business with these operational systems and structure, but they can grow and scale with these operational systems and structure. But also, if you're an agency owner that's kind of like in that growing and scaling stage, we have the, operational assessments that we can do an assessment of what you currently have in your agency, and to see if we need to restructure. And if you are ready, to restructure your agency, then we have like the Scale Up Blueprint, which is again like a 3-month service program for those agencies that's in the growing and scaling stage, and they need to, streamline their operations to grow a little bit better.
Okay. And so is there anything for a person who's starting a medical billing business and kind of wants to know the ins and outs? Are any of those programs for that, or do they need to just kind of DM you for that?
In regards, like if there's a person that's trying to get like into the medical billing industry, or trying to get into the medical billing field, who doesn't necessarily have like a medical billing background, there's definitely a couple of people that I would recommend that can assist you to learning a little bit more about the industry and exactly like what do a day-to-day medical biller do. I would definitely recommend Tamika Duncan of It's All Medical Billing. If you DM me, I can share her information, and you can learn a little bit more about, the day-to-day, of being a medical biller. She definitely has a YouTube program called, I think it's called the Medical Billing Maven, that you can learn about medical billing. But also, there's another coach, Kiana. I forgot Kiana's last name. Sorry, Kiana. I forgot Kiana's last name, but it's Kiana of Ask the Biller. She definitely have like coaching programs that can help people learn about medical billing, get certification, and get acclimated to the industry.
And where do people follow you if they want to follow you and hear some of your content and see your lives and whatnot?
Yep, it's right here on Instagram, and it's Fab girl. What am I? Fab Consultant _. I'm sorry, y'all. Kiana Craig. Thank you, Tanya. Kiana Craig. And so it's right here on Instagram at @FabConsultant_. So you can just follow me here. You can DM me here for questions, that you may have, or, we could just chop it up.
And if you in general just have, if you're struggling, like I said at the beginning of the program, with that dream in your heart, it doesn't have to be medical building. It can be anything, with purpose, just with life choices, maybe changing behaviors. I do have an ebook, a complimentary ebook, and you can follow me at I am Tina Lorraine here on Instagram, and it's called Seven Simple Steps to Start a Dream. There's a cheat sheet for those of you who just don't need, the ebook. You just need something to put up on your refrigerator to remind you. And then there's the ebook. And I'll also have another ebook dropping tomorrow that is the 7 mindsets you need to start your dream. So that's complimentary too. You can just download it and use it as you need it. And I think that about wraps it up, because nobody, oh, Tanya, they're both are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, Tanya.
okay. Tanya's okay. Thank you guys for joining us for the first episode of Soulful Solution. I will see you next Friday for another episode. And I just want to leave you with trust God, trust your gut, and trust love. Thank you, Tasha.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Coach
Bye.
Tina.
Bye.
Okay, bye, everybody.